I want us to talk irritation. What irritates you? What irritates you? What, Shelley?
Which one?
Which one?
Some of my parents at school.
Okay. What irritates you, Don?
Politicians.
Politicians. What irritates you? Who gets the answer? Keith, she does or you do? Okay. What? Oh, idiot drivers. You know, they have a women's parking lot down on the other side of Bowling Green. The what? A women's parking lot. You know what they call it?
You better be careful.
It's a junkyard. Oh, there's a fly. What irritates you? Tommy, what irritates you? Stupid preachers irritate you, asking you questions. What? Spouses do.
Your other half.
I don't know if I can keep preaching or not.
I think what irritates me the most, let myself get irritated.
Let myself get irritated irritates me. Probably many know that Tuesday I went to the mountains, Pikeville. Okay, we got it.
When I raised my hand, then I can't remember what I was going to say.
Then I look stupid. Wait just a second. I got it. Okay. I want to talk about irritation. I drove Tuesday to Pikeville, Kentucky, one county away from West Virginia, the other part of the state down there, where the Hatfields and the McCoys are from. As a matter of fact, the person I went to visit is kin to the McCoys. I've done several McCoy funerals, and you never know what's going to happen. But our friends last Saturday was in a terrible car wreck, while we was coming over to celebrate Beverly's birthday, and we pulled over on the side of the road. They did not know at first if they were alive or dead. They were in a 1970 Volkswagen Beetle, you know, the old Beetles, the motors in back, and it pushed from the front bumper all the way back into the windshield and the cab of the car. And the husband, Ronnie, I'm going to say 48 years old, tried to keep his wife from going in the windshield, and there's no airbags or no seatbelt, so he was trying to hold her and drove him into the windshield, and he is bruised and messed up, stitches all over the place, broke his nose, broke 3 ribs, broke his sternum, and they thought that they were dead laying on the side of the road. His wife, Alicia, where he protected her sort of top part, she did have broken ribs, but she broke her legs in 72 different places, and she has a steel rod from her hip to her knee, and plates and screws and all of that. And the Lord dealt with me over the weekend that I had to drive to Pikeville. Well, if you know anything, you know Pikeville's about 5 hours. You could do it in 4.5 hours if you don't stop. But I did stop in London and look at some guitars, and I didn't buy one, which is a miracle there. But I stopped in London, and we got there and got to the hospital, and the Lord had prepared the way. Ronnie does not know Jesus, and Ronnie demanded, he told him, I'm going out of the hospital if you allow me to or not. And he got up and he left the hospital. after a day or two. They were in intensive care on ventilators and all those issues. But the Lord told me to go and anoint Lisha in Pikeville. And Ronnie was 40 miles away, 33 miles away, whatever, in Prestonsburg. And the Lord traveled before I got there. And I went in the house with Ronnie. That was my concern. I don't want anybody to go to hell. You hear me? We've known Ronnie and Lisha 40 years. They were married, and he was going to leave her 32 years ago, 34 years ago. He was going to leave her. He wanted children, and she couldn't have children. And they called me over to their house, and they had been into a terrible, terrible squabble. And so I went in and got things calmed down, and I talked to him, and I said, what's the bottom line of this argument? Alicia started crying and said, I can't have a baby, and he wants a baby. Wait just a second. Okay, I got it. I said, that's no problem. They both said, how's that? And I said, we can pray. And we anointed and prayed for both of them. And in just a hair over 9 months, they had a beautiful little girl that they named Veronica, that I went back a couple years ago and married her. And while I was in the house with them Tuesday, she told her children I wouldn't be here if that preacher didn't pray. And she told them this story. And we prayed with Ronnie, and he cried, and the Lord ministered. But on the way there, I had a friend traveling with me. I asked Linda to go, and she had to work. And she did say she would take off work, but I'm getting aggravated here. Yeah, I'm getting irritated. A fly rode with me. The first trip we took in our new car, and there was this fly, and I believe he came from Turkey. I think that's where they make them vans at, in Turkey. And I think I had a Turkish fly in that, and he didn't want to get out of the car. At one point past Somerset, I pulled over and opened all 4 doors and invited that fly to get out of there because he was aggravating me and irritating me, and he didn't want to. I think he thought he owned the car, and he forgot that me and the bank owned the car, and so I thought he was gone. I got in the car, turned on the air conditioning, and I hate you, fly. You're ruining my trip. And I'd roll down the windows, and he'd ride with me. And he's trying to tell me something, but I don't understand fly too much. He irritated me. The Bible talks about this irritation, and we'll go into it a little more tonight, but I want to talk about being irritated. Some of you come to church today irritated. You're aggravated. I don't know who invented that game, aggravation, but I wish they hadn't. I'd rather play Monopoly. Everybody puts my marbles out. They don't play to get theirs in home. They just play to knock me off the board. Aggravation, frustration, causing trouble. You got a couple of those things today? Difficult. I like easy things. To provoke, impatient. I think Linda just said, if I understood her right, that I provoke her impatience there. I can't believe she said that.
I said spouses. I didn't say you or me. I said
Who's your spouse? Okay, stop. Anger or to be displeased, annoy. Have you got a person in your life that just annoys the snot out of you? Every time they open their mouth, as iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. Annoy, bother, bug, flies, often by repeated acts, quick, brief attacks, a source of vexation. I'm really not going to get into it much tonight, but Linda and I went and we bought some of this ointment. You put it on your face and it makes you look really pretty. It makes you. Who shall we volunteer to put it on?
Rick.
Not you. Don?
Somebody said Rick.
Rick?
She said Rick. Yeah, Rick always volunteers.
You volunteer, Rick?
I'll volunteer, but I don't need it.
You want what?
He won't need it.
He'll volunteer, but he don't need it.
Oh. He don't get discounts like I do for being ugly. But see my ointment? We went to great expense to buy this ointment, and we're going to have some problems getting it and putting it on. We're going to have some problems because you know what? That stupid fly that rode to Pikeville with me.
Didn't work, Pastor. We'll get your money back.
No, he rode with me to Pikeville and back. Listen, I recognize his voice. Yep, that's him. Yeah.
I don't you get
Oh, well. I don't know why God made flies. Linda, can I have a towel? A towel or a paper towel. Probably I'd rather have a towel. I'm not for sure why God made flies. Maybe before the fall, flies were something good, but I can't imagine what they would have been. But it's not just a fly in my ointment. It's Ecclesiastes 10:1. It's what? No. It's dead flies. Can't we get off the first line?
Okay.
What do dead flies do? Dead flies stink. I'm sure this is honestly coconut. Somebody told me coconut oil would help my beard. And so Linda went and bought me eating coconut oil that you put in pies or that you whatever. This is eating coconut oil. And so Barb heard and she laughed at Linda and said, "You don't put eaten coconut oil on your face. You put coconut lotion or whatever it is." And I can't believe I did that. That's not in my notes there. But dead flies in the ointment stink. And so does a little folly, him that is in the reputation for wisdom and honor. And we'll address this tonight. You don't have another version? I don't guess so. I want to talk about the little things in life that irritate me. Are you having a good day? I've talked to some of us this morning. I said, how you feeling? Oh, I'm dying. Oh, I'm hurting here, and here. And you know what I say? There's one place I'm not hurting, and it's right there, that little. And if you hit it hard enough, I'll be hurting there. Oh, preacher, the devil's on my back. We had a song leader in the mountain that's 80 years old, and pretty good song leader. And before we'd have prayer and she'd open up to singing, but before she'd always, ever service, before one song, she would sing. She would say, the devil's on my back. He's been on my back all week long. Oh, the devil's just killing me. He's been on my back. Now let's turn to page 120 and sing Victory in Jesus. The devil's been on your back all week long, and you want to sing Victory in Jesus? You'll be up here when we sing Victory in Jesus. You want me to do an impersonation? Oh, victory in Jesus. Raise your hands. Forever and ever. We're letting flies irritate our life. And I'm going to go more into the ointment. I cut paper and glued it on there, and I made me an ointment and used as it should be say needed, but I didn't have room for the ED, so I just put use as needed. But flies, little things, mess us up. This finger hurts. I don't like it. You having a good day? Amen. No, I'm not having a good day. Why? Because the little things are aggravating the snot out of me. The little things are killing me. Me and my spouse, she's already told you how mean I am in this service. And she's looking for somebody to go out to eat with today because I'm not going to take her. She rubbed me the wrong way. Sometimes life rubs you the wrong way. And sometimes we let the rub or the pain or the disappointment or the sorrow or we let somebody else make us mad. That is a total misnomer. Nobody ever made you mad. Who said the drivers around here makes them mad? Keith. Yeah, they pull out right in front of you. Had a young man killed in Smiths Grove on the motorcycle. Wow. He didn't realize, he said to those around him, am I dying? When the husband and wife, they have 2 daughters, quite a bit younger than Marty and Josh. I'm going to say 31 years old, something like that. And they got to the scene before the helicopters did. 2 sisters in the family got there, and they got there and looked over at the 2 bodies laying on the side of the road, and they thought they was dead. The little aggravations and irritations don't matter at all. Was it yesterday on the news last night, a 32-year-old lady riding on a 4-wheeler, just having the fun of their life, riding all over the place, giggling and laughing, and somehow the 4-wheeler, I hate 4-wheelers, unless you've got a cage on them and seat belts. I don't understand. Linda and I have several friends died on four-wheelers. I don't like them. I don't like them. And it'd be so easily corrected. But I'm telling you, when you're dying or somebody else is dying in your family, your little flies don't matter at all. The little irritations don't matter at all. Let's ask Paul about little irritations. You ready? Do you think Paul's going to see irritations like you do? Maybe, don't know. Paul says, for which cause these little irritations, for which cause we faint not. I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm not going to get down over this stuff. A flat tire. This week, $59 for an oil change. $378 for intake and extake, solenoid, something and others. What, Linda? Linda told me I misspelled solenoid. That's one time I was right. Camshaft solenoids. I never even knew I owned a camshaft solenoid. That's a what? Your little yellow light come on? How much did you pay? $378. And they got me in and out Midas, but it was more than that, but his son works there. You know his son, the singing son? Jevin. He gave me an ugly discount. I'll tell you, you never know how good it pays. Did you know you had a camshaft solenoid? The paper says solenoid. Solenoid. What?
There is a solenoid and there is a thing.
Well, I got the most expensive one. Did your little yellow light come on? Did you know that if you don't replace it, mine just said weak, but if you don't replace it, you're going to be on the side of the road someplace. Wrecker bill. Okay, to Prestonsburg, to Pikeville, to that stupid little fly aggravating the snot out of me, and all of these things. And you know what happened? I forgot how blessed I am. I'm blessed that they was able to fix it. I started getting my oil changed at Valvoline. They wanted $98 to change my oil. I just went across the street, and they got a deal going on at Midas, $48, and they rotate your tires with that. I saved $50 by walking across the street. I'm telling you, everything in life is there to aggravate you. Your marriages. How about this? We are blessed. We are blessed. Look what Paul goes on to say. I'm not going to faint with these problems. But though our outward man perish, I know about that, our inward man is renewed day by day. Hey, $378. And then add to that the $50. And then add onto that 3 tanks of gas in one day. Then add onto that Linda didn't think I should go. Talk to him on the phone. Hey, Linda, we're talking about eternity. We're talking about the difference of somebody going to heaven or going to hell. I have to go. I have no choice but to go. but I got flies in my ointment. And that flies in my ointment aggravate me. If that was really dead flies, do you think I would have rubbed that on my face? I would have let you rub it on your face. You think I would have tasted that beautiful coconut? I don't even taste coconut in it. The inward man, I may be having trouble out here, but if I'll come to God, the inward man is renewed day by day. But we're letting the flies bother us. We're letting the flies bother us. We're letting the flies bother us. I see one right. Did you see one on our head?
Right there.
Where right? Come on, church. We're blessed. I have 2 kids. I have 6 grandkids. They can all walk and talk. I saw somebody in Walmart yesterday with a beautiful little girl. It was all, and I thought, God, I'm so blessed.
Yes, amen.
I'm so blessed.
Yes.
Yeah, my, what was it, camshaft? What is a camshaft? You can tell me later. Buddy can tell me later. For our light affliction. Wait. What I'm going through is light afflictions. Paul saying, I'm going through light afflictions, which is for but a moment. And it works as far more exceedingly an eternal weight and glory. We're seeing all the stuff. God doesn't see the stuff. God sees the eternal. While we look not at the things that are seen, wait, that's what we focus our whole lives on. What we see, but all things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal. They're going to pass away. But the things which are not seen are eternal. 2 very important words. I have 2 very important words right here. Light affliction. Let's talk about Paul's light affliction. You ready? The camshaft, Illinois. "10 hours driving. 7 hours driving, and the Lord laid somebody that's going through town, and the Lord said, stop and visit. I said, Lord, I want to get home before 10. I didn't. I stopped and I called and I said, could you meet me out by the interstate? This big Dodge pickup diesel truck pulled up beside my car, and I got out and I said, I was praying and I felt like I needed to just talk to you. And the man started bawling like a baby. He started telling me what's going on in his family, and my fly wasn't nothing to what he's going through. When I got home, I looked on my phone. I don't text or anything while I'm driving. He said, you're more dear to me than any brother that I have. Church, yeah, we're hurting. And yeah, we got flies that irritate us. But look what Paul said. He called it a what? Light affliction. Let's all say that on 3.
Light affliction.
He said, I'm just going through some light afflictions. Look what he says, 2 Corinthians 11:23. Are they ministers of Christ? I speak as a fool. I am more, in labors more abundant. What did he do for a living? Made tents. in stripes above measure, in prison more frequent, in death often. He was left several times for a dead man laying on the side of the road. One time they stoned him to death. Of the Jews, 5 times I received 40 stripes, save one. So 40 minus 1 times 5 is
196.
Did you know every one of those stripes left a scar on his back?
196.
Every stripe had a cat o' nine tails, which is little metal balls or little pieces of bone tied in it. And every time they cracked the whip, it made 9 cuts in his back. So times that times 9. Wow. 3 times I was beaten with rods, and the flies are bothering me. I'm bothering Linda. Our kids are bothering us. My dad lives 3 hours away, and I've seen my dad 6 times that I've not seen my sons. They live within 5 or 6 miles of the house. And I call that bad. I was beaten with rods. Once I was stoned. That's not the same kind of stone that they get stoned today. 3 times I suffered shipwreck. A night and a day I've been in the deep, in journeying often, in perils of water, in perils of robbers. He was robbed, and they probably beat him. In perils of my own countrymen, of church people, in perils by the heathen. I got it rough. You got it rough. In perils among false brethren, in weariness and painfulness, in watchings often, in hunger and thirst, in fastings often, in cold and nakedness. He's been beaten with stripes. He's been locked up in prison. Now, Miss Tracy keeps us a good prison. You got a working commode, you got water, you get food, you all that. What kind of prison was he in? Was there flushing commodes? I was locked up in prison. I was left for dead. 235 stripes with a whip, 3 times with a rock, stoned to death, and he survived it. 3 times he's in a shipwreck. Once he almost drowned. Once he was robbed by cruel men and stole all of his stuff. Once he was in trouble by his own people. He was in trouble by heathens, in perils in the wilderness, in perils at sea. False brethren tried to destroy him. I've been so weary. I've been weary. You been weary? You been weary? The flies bothering you? Jeremiah says, how are you going to run with the horses when you can't keep up with the footmen? If you can't keep up with little problems, what you going to do after the rapture? I suffered great pain. He didn't have Tylenol, Excedrin. I was hungry and thirsty. I fasted offering. I was cold. I was sleepless. I was let down through a window for me to run for my life. And you want to talk about having a good day? Where is it? Where's that fly? Where is it, Rick? Oh, no, don't say there. Don't say there. We're going on. Acts 9, verse 15. But the Lord said unto him, go your way, Paul. For you've been a chosen vessel. And the Bible says, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to tell you what you're going to have to suffer. I was in Haiti, 105 degrees at 11 o'clock at night. No fan, no electricity. And you pray, and about 11 o'clock at night, the Lord brings a breeze off of the ocean. And you start sweating, and you sweat your blankets wet, and then finally you can go to sleep. But then I came home to air conditioning, to food. 15 days, never had an ice cube at 105 degrees. And they live that way all the time. I got it tough. Paul goes on to say, I'm talking to you not in respect of want. Did he not say he was hungry? Did he not say he was cold? In whatsoever state I am, that is Kentucky. Whatsoever state that I'm in, that's not West Virginia. That's, well, it might include whatever state I'm in. I know how to be abased and I know how to abound. Those little flies in my ointment are not going to knock me down and get me to quit. I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. James says, my brethren and sistren, no, a sistren is something different than a sister, right? Count it all joy when you're having a lot of hard trouble. Could God not made my solenoid, my camshaft solenoid, could he not made it not break?
And he could have fixed it.
Do what?
And he can fix it.
He did fix it.
There you go.
That's what I call slip me miracles. Count it joy. Don't think it's strange when you're going through fiery trials. Don't think it's strange. It's part of life. It's part of life. It's the day that the Lord has made, and I'm going to rejoice in it. I'm not going to let the flies get me down.
Amen.
Let me close with this story. Alaska has trouble with wolves. Don't tell that to Rick. Rick's a wolf lover. He's got a wolf in his backyard. Well, a semi-wolf. This is the day that the Lord hath made. Even though my camshaft solenoid, even though all of that, even though Linda snorted at me yesterday, I said something and Linda stomped her foot at me. And I said, Linda, are we going back to childhood? She said, well, I'm sorry. Flies aren't supposed to get us down. Am I getting over? What's got you down this week? Somebody didn't call you? Your beans burnt? We'd been married a month. I said, Linda, I'm wanting soup beans. She said, okay. She went to the store and bought beans. We'd just been married and we got a lot of pots and stuff. You know, what do you call those where people give you stuff when you're getting married? What?
Housewarming gifts.
A shower. They gave us a shower. And so we had a lot of pots, and I come in and the house There's black smoke all over the house. I had to go like this to keep from getting black lung. I said, "What's happened, Linda?" She said, "I think I burnt the beans." You think you burnt the beans? I went in there, and the water was as black as tar. We could have paved a pothole. The beans were burnt. You know, if you burn one bean, the whole pot tastes burnt. You know that? This thick. True story. We took a hammer and chisel and tried to chisel those burnt beans out. And she said, "Martin, why are we doing all this? We got plenty of pots. Let's just throw it away." We threw it away. She took some of that juice off and put it over white bread. I said, "Baby, I love you, but I can't eat this." Little things. Fighting over little things. Teenagers will be teenagers. Old people will be old people. They'll tell you the same old stories over and over and over and over. Love them anyway. Pain. I hate pain. I have a low threshold of pain. I don't take pain very well. Through all of Wayne's cancer battle, the Lord's blessed him that there hasn't been very much pain. And we're very grateful for that, Wayne. But I want to tell you, we're going through light afflictions. Yep. Now, you want to get mad at me for saying that? Huh? No, I'm talking to everybody. I probably was looking more over your shoulder, but you must be guilty, so I'm going to say, yes, you. Who do you think I'm called to preach to? We're going through some light stuff. But one of these days, I made a fatal mistake most of my ministry at the cemetery. I've said we're burying the person that we love. You don't bury a Christian. You plant a Christian. And one of these days, the trump of the Lord's going to sound, and the dead in Christ shall rise first, and we that are alive and remain shall be changed in a moment, in a twinkle of an eye. And they're going to split out of that grave, and about the time they get to the top, we're going to join in with them, and those flies won't matter at all. Take one step in the pearly gates. And you're going to say, heaven will surely be worth it all. Worth all the troubles and trials that here befall. How beautiful heaven must be. Sweet home of the happy. Lord, just look how happy this crowd is. They're grinning ear to some. God's been good to us. I'd like us to close. First off and say, God, I'm sorry for letting the flies dictate to my spirit. Shame on me. It's just a fly. Put a piece of bread out there and feed them. No, we let them. I read where a guy got so mad at a fly that he took his fly swatter and he swung and he broke the kitchen table. And the fly got away. And he took a double-barrel shotgun and shot right inside his house. He's going to take care of that fly. Pow, pow! And he's got holes all in his wall. The sun shines through. Okay, how do you kill a wolf in Alaska? You ready? I'm on time. Praise God, Tommy. Packs. Don't they call them packs? A wolf pack. And in Alaska, when the wolves travel, I'm still trying to get that coconut out of my beard. You got any ideas? Hot water, I guess. When they travel in packs, they're almost impossible to hunt because they smell a human from several miles away, and they get away. And when they're stronger in a pack than they are as individuals. Get that lesson. We're stronger together. And they can't catch them. So what do? You ready? I'm going to tell you how to catch a wolf pack. You get you some knives and sharpen them razor blade sharp. Then you get you some blood and you coat that knife blade with blood and you put it outside in the ice and it freezes. Then you bring the knife back in and you put another layer of blood on it. Put it outside and let it freeze. You do that until you get about 1/2 inch of blood on that razor blade sharp knife. And you do that to 4 or 5 knives, and you take the knives out and you just stick the handles down in the snow. A day or two later, the human scent will leave, and all that will be there is a razor blade sharp knives covered with blood. And you know what the wolves do? Huh? They come and they start licking the blade. And they lick the blade and they lick the blade, and they love the taste of blood. And the more they lick it, the better it tastes. The more they lick it, until finally they get to the point that they're down to the razor blade sharp, and now what are they tasting?
Their own blood.
Warm blood. And they go wild, licking their own blood. And all the Alaskans have to do is come and pick up their bodies. They killed themselves, licking their own blood. Can I tell you that we're letting the flies get us? Come on. We're letting the flies, Thomas. We're letting the flies get us to lick our own blood. If I was as handsome as you are, I'd no telling what I'd do. I'd get me a Mustang convertible and I'd ride all around and just throw out fish hooks for the girls. Yeah. Come on. Some of you have fussed this morning. You say, it's only me there. I don't care. You can fuss with yourself. I'm pretty good at that. I don't need nobody to tear me down. I can tear myself down. Paul, I'm sorry that you had to go through all of that kind of stuff. And again, we'll get in tonight to the fly. I'm not going to rub any more on me unless you want some rubbed on you. Don't let the fly destroy your ointment. Don't let little things knock you down. Can a teenage Can a son drinking alcohol be stupid? I wrote him this week and said, Tommy, the Holy Spirit's after you. You ain't going to get away from him. And I'm asking you, I know today's different and I never know who's going to be here. But I want to tell you, we're letting little things that don't matter at all, divorces, all kinds of things going on. Did you know worry can make you sick? I got to close. Would you bow your heads with me? The most important part of the service is when we apply the lesson to our lives. Are we going to allow little flies? You know, there's healing in the ointment. There's wrinkle reducers in the ointment, if you believe the commercials. Wait, what's going on at your house? What's going on with you? Every eye closed and every head bowed. Has the flies been bothering you? We're going to call them light afflictions. Have they been bothering you? Have you let it get you down? You could have cancer. You could have a widowmaker in your heart. You're going to find out they were all little things. They're little things. Is there a person in this place today that would signify I'm lost or I'm backslidden? Just raise up your hand and say, pray for me, preacher. There's one. Jesus died for that one, church. Somebody says, you got to change before you accept Jesus. No, you don't. You accept Jesus, and then you change. Let me tarry just a minute longer. Is there somebody else in this place that's either lost or backslidden?